The 2023 Tokyo Game Show has finally come to a close, and with it we have a ton of footage and details on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So with it, let's go over everything and all the news that you might have missed from the Tokyo Game Show regarding Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Just a quick disclaimer that this will be covering a ton of content, but it might not cover everything, just to be forewarned going forward. So when it comes to our party configuration, we can now change our various party sets from various presets that we can set up in the menus with just a touch of a button. By setting whatever set of 3 characters that we want to be grouped together from inside the game, you can just set one button and go through your various presets to change on the fly. Music will seamlessly change from its overworld theme into battle as you go into a fight, and right back into the overworld theme as soon as you finish combat.
Go on!
Take the lead.
You can do it! Ready? Yeah. Up you go! All warmed up.
Items and resources that you collect in the world will have tons of uses for them. More specifically, a lot of these resources that we collect can be used in a new feature called the item transmuter. By taking these various resources, we can use various pieces of them to create brand new items such as potions and whatnot for us to use in combat. When exploring throughout the world, you will automatically jump or climb small little hills as you explore, so you don't have to worry about constantly jumping any sort of stamina bar or anything like that. Players will now be able to use a cushion to restore HP and MP, much like a tent in the original Final Fantasy VII, at various chocobo stops throughout the overworld. When exploring, we also now have the ability to swim, which is fantastic. See the little island out there? You can get there. Just hop in the water and go for a little swim. Chadley the Giga Chad is back in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and with his return, he has a bunch of new features for us to use. One such being towers are given to access to world intel when we use them, where they will show nearby battle site missions which appear to unlock materia upon completion, and we help him with his research. As we're exploring, we will have a massive world map which will show us all the areas that we explored. A lot of the areas that we won't have been to will be covered in like this gray fog of war type area. As you explore, they will show up in color and detail, showing you where you have and haven't been. While exploring on chocobos, they can alert you to hidden treasure and items that might be nearby. Just use them to track it down to get some free stuff. Job boards or odd jobs are back in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and you can get these from different people or from different cities postings, which will essentially be new side quests for you to do. Moogles are back, and with it, you can visit them at the Moogle House, which is one of the areas that we will find them in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which will host to a ton of different mini games that we can do throughout our playthrough. We are getting a brand new card game which will be called Queen's Blood, which seems to be a little bit almost like a fusion of Tetramaster and Triple Triad. While exploring on Chocobo, we also have the option to customize their appearance. As we go throughout the game, we will be able to unlock various item sets such as various armors that they can wear, and you can also customize and change the coloring of these armors as you ride around on your feathery friend. Upon completing various battle missions and requests, we will unlock fights to stronger enemies while exploring in the overworld that we'll have access to. There will be also the introduction of a brand new minigame that allows us to play the piano. From the clip that we got to see, one clip looked like it was most likely in Nibelheim, and we got to play through Aerith's theme, as well as likely many others. This full scene that they showed where we were playing through the actual full length of Aerith's theme during the live stream was somewhere else other than Nibelheim, so I'd imagine we'll have multiple places to play throughout our playthrough. Finally, for the last part of the live stream, we got to see what appeared to be a Wutai teaser. It has been confirmed in an interview that Wutai will not be in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, at least in an explorable playable state, but that doesn't mean that we might not have some cutscenes or something similar to what was possibly teased at the very end. With that, let's get into some of the combat features that come with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. First and probably most important, you can play as Sephiroth. Cloud's Punisher mode is slightly modified from how it worked in Final Fantasy VII Remake. As you attack, your attack patterns are slightly different, but for the most part, it appears to be pretty similar in how it acts and is used in combat. Synergy skills are a new function that allow your used character to use a synergy attack with a fellow party member. What's unique is using these various synergy skills will be different based off who we are using and who we use them with. For example, say if we're doing a synergy attack as we're playing as Cloud with Tifa, it will be different from when we were playing as Tifa using a synergy skill with Cloud. A nice added feature for combat is that each character can now dodge. The dodge materia has been removed and it is now equipped to the circle button so anybody can dodge attacks. We also now have the ability to parry attacks with the block button. When we press the block button at what seems to be a perfect time or within a few frames of right when we're getting hit, we will be actually able to parry the attack, which will push them back as well as increase their stagger gauge as well as also making them pressured. Synergy skills can be improved via skill trees as you progress through the game, so as you level up and want to find a skill that you really enjoy using, you can strengthen it as you play. Using ATB skills grants bars which allow the use of synergy abilities, which are small mini cutscene like attacks which are even more powerful than synergy skills. These synergy abilities run off the little mini widgets that we see at the very bottom of each character's tab during combat, and we can fill them up simply by just using abilities from our ATB gauge. Customization of shortcuts for each character has its own screen with much more detail and also works with synergy skills. Red 13's combat abilities have been revealed and his unique skill is going to be Vengeance Mode. With Vengeance Mode, guarding attacks will fill up his gauge, and once utilized and he enters Vengeance Mode, it will increase the damage and his dodge speed. According to the livestream, his Vengeance Mode can be activated at any time, but of course, the more abilities that we block, the higher we fill the gauge, will increase the duration of his Vengeance Mode once it's used. Thankfully, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we have a ton more materia options which have been added to increase the level of combat. What's nice is with some of these additions, we've gotten rid of a lot of this materia bloat, such as a materia that equips fire and ice skills, so that if we wanted to equip Aerith, who is a strong magic user, we can equip her with a materia that allows her to use 2 magic spells rather than having to take up 2 different materia slots like it would have in Final Fantasy VII Remake. There are of course new items and consumables which have been added to the game which can be used in combat. As well as with combat, we also have unique weapon skills which appear to be back and act just like they did in Final Fantasy VII Remake. With each weapon gives us a unique skill. Once we master it, we can then learn it or equip it into our shortcuts without having to have that weapon equipped anymore. Rebirth will continue the feature of having the triple item set of having 1 weapon, 1 armor or bracelet like item, and an accessory to equip with each character as we customize them. The cover materia has now been converted into Aerith's synergy skill, which can protect her as he's going through casting her magic spells. For those that aren't familiar, the cover materia was a materia in the original Final Fantasy VII, and when you would equip it on somebody such as Cloud or Barret, they would go to defend somebody such as Tifa or Aerith from attacks from enemies. And that is going to be it for pretty much a lot of the information that we got from the Tokyo Game Show of 2023. We got a ton of gameplay and a ton of news, and with it, the game just looks better and better. Even though I know I covered a ton of material, please let me know down in the comments below what you are most excited for and if there's anything that I might have missed while covering the game. With it, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please, if you enjoy the content, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, as well as leave a comment down below, because it greatly helps me out. I hope to see you guys in the next Final Fantasy VII Rebirth video. Until then, peace and deuces. See ya.